Hey everyone, my name is Jason with Mount Baker Mining and Metals, and today we're in Eastern Oregon. Going to do a little prospecting, go explore some underground mines, and get a big sample of stuff that we're going to take back to my shop, crush it up, and see if we can get the gold out. Right now we're standing on the big dump pile, and you can see the trucks there. It was quite an operation back in the day. But what we're going to be looking for, I'm going to try and get a sample of some of this quartz here. These were quartz veins they were mining. And it's laying all over the dumps here. Probably lower grade stuff since they kicked it off into the dumps. But it's easy pickings, and I figure we can get maybe 300, 400, 500 pounds and get it run through the crusher. But you can see there's some oxidation here, some pyrite in there. So maybe not everything on the dump is bad, but we'll get a big enough sample to see what we can find in this stuff. But they mined thousands and thousands of tons out of here. These workings are pretty much vertical. They're back up over here somewhere. We're going to try and get in them today. And the veins running kind of east-west here and dips pretty much straight down. So hopefully we can get down in there and do a little exploring today. Well, I'm here with the owner today, and he said that this was actually a spot where the ore bin was, the old ore bin. And rather than pick around in the dumps, he said, just come on over here, and there's a bunch of ore that they thought was good enough to send. But here a couple of years ago, there was a big fire that came through and it burned the ore bin up. There's old charred logs and stuff, a little bit that's left over. But all the ore just came down and sat in a pile. So I'm going to grab up most of our sample from here, and that should be better than just the stuff in the dumps. Well, I've collected about 5 bags of material off this little scree here under where the ore bin was. And I've collected most of the bigger pieces, baseball size or bigger. But there's this big pile of fines right here. And I can kind of envision the ore bin was up there. They would come and they'd dump the ore carts into the ore bin. That's long since burned. But right here was probably the chute where they would fill up cars and send them down to the valley bottom. So all these fines are just a bunch of ore, the fines out of the ore bin that they missed or spilled. So I'm going to grab a couple bags of these fines and see what those look like through the crusher. I always think when I'm out at mine sites like this and I see all this ore laying on the ground, somebody worked really, really hard to get that rock mined from underground up on the surface and then down to the mill. And this was all wasted effort. It got all the way out here and then it got dumped in the ground, and that was it. So now I'm kind of reaping the benefits of all their work by all I got to do is just shovel this stuff up, put it in sandbags, and send it into the crusher. So thanks, old timers, for mining this stuff for me. I got my little mining project done there. Got 3 sandbags worth. Now I got to get them up that hill to the truck. Oh. It may look fun, but after 10 trips up that hill, it gets wearing on you. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but right above those pyrite cubes is a bunch of free gold in the quartz. So that's something we found off one of the dumps here. So there is some nice gold in this stuff. Yeah,
talk with you.
Yeah, just maybe give us a little bit of the history on this place and what they were doing and looking for. And
this mine was first developed in about the 1880s to 1890, and was worked up until the early 1900s. And I suspect there's no official data to support it, but there's probably about 10,000 ounces of gold came out of here. It's basically free milling gold, within a quartz veins that have minor sulfides in the form of chalcopyrite, galena, and pyrite. The shaft that you're looking at supposedly goes down about 300 feet, straight down, with levels probably about every 100 feet.
Wow.
And it's collapsed in, but
this was the main shaft where they were pulling everything up?
right, this was probably the haulage way that they brought the ore out of. And then there was a cable tramway down to the city of, which is about a mile away, and they processed the ore at that point, but they would tram it down there, and then had I think a 10 stamp mill.
Oh, okay.
Or some fairly small mill that would mill it.
And this is here's the vein over here you can kind of see.
Looks like there's 2 or 3 subparallel quartz veins, and at least from the exposures here, they're from 1 to 3 feet wide.
And they shafted down, and down under there in the workings, there's stopes that they would mine the ore out of, and it'd come up in a skip or a bucket here, right to the ore bin, where I was collecting samples earlier, and then they'd send it down to get milled. And it was a stamp mill with copper plates and mercury, I'm assuming.
Oh, yep, yep.
Well, how are we going to get in there?
feet first.
Is there
never go head first.
Is there some stairs or an elevator or something?
There's just one landing at the bottom.
Uh-huh.
There are a series of stopes and some other workings on another parallel vein that we're going to go to right now. But this we'll leave for another day to actually go straight down this thing. This looks a little nasty.
And you mentioned earlier there was about an estimated 10,000 ounces, which in today's values, is that $2 million or $20 million? I think it's $20 million.
Yeah, I'm not
15 million, 20.
I'm not good with zeros.
Yeah. Add them up. So someone on YouTube will tell us.
Yeah,
but
it'll pay.
It was a significant operation,
right.
Even at today's.
And the ore that I've tested here has come back pretty consistent between a quarter to a half ounce per ton gold.
Okay.
With a minor silver fraction. So at that average, you could probably sustain an underground operation, but you'd certainly hope you could find an ore body that was either richer or had a lot more volume than these small veins here.
Yeah, 2-3 feet is hard to mine at a quarter to a half, but 5-6 it would make it a lot easier. You need that volume to get the tonnage going.
Right.
Well, yeah, let's get our ladder and
okay.
We'll go do a little exploring. So here's our access, huh? We're going in here.
But I go, wait a minute, there are multiple quartz veins here, and this is one of them, and then there's the other. That would increase your tonnage ability, but you can have separate, mining activities here.
Sure. So there's a little minor one right here, right over our head that you were mentioning.
Right.
So they were working multiple zones here.
Okay. On my shoulders.
Oh yeah, Can you want me to go in front of you?
No, I'm
You're
okay.
all right? Okay.
This is about the worst spot right there.
Until we get to the ladder.
Yeah. But here's where I want to put the ladder.
Okay.
Well, what the hell? Somebody.
Oh, they've got.
I don't know if I did that, or is this the? I'm glad you got your light there. Well, anyway, I think this might be it, but I measured the distance and it was 17 feet down there, so I know we've got enough.
Okay.
And we still go that way too.
And you've never been down to that level?
I've never been down there. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's our first.
I might have
put that board in there.
Yeah, I forget.
Well, you want to haul it out and put the ladder in there?
That might be the best.
See if we can squeeze down through there.
Just easier.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No, let me go get the ladder. We'll see if we can get this.
Okay, yeah.
So you're using a little infrared.
Yeah. I've got.
Yeah, I don't know, hit my hand or something. But yeah, if you're trying to measure across a stope or something, it's a whole lot easier to use that than a tape. And we just got our ladder in here.
I've got 12 feet to you.
To me, and I'm standing at the hole here. Well, I'll go down here first and see what it's like and raise it up for you.
I want to do that.
Yep, I'm fine with it. I'm down the ladder here, and we're in a little stope, but Lane's going to come down from there in a minute. He's going to map this out as we go.
Do you have a hammer?
I do, yeah.
Okay, because I neglected to bring one.
Did you bring your sampling jug?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Got my sample.
Here's a better look at this vein they were working. And they left these little pillars so the whole wall didn't come falling in on them. But then down here in this little stope, they took the vein because that's where the gold was. Let's see what's going on here with Lane. A little pillar right above him there. The vein's less than a foot wide.
Really? Yeah.
Right above you there.
Yeah. This might not have been their main vein, you know.
Yeah, right.
Looks like they backfilled here.
Yeah.
And I'm on terra firma, I guess.
Yeah, we made it. Hopefully this goes somewhere. Tell me about your stylish socks there.
Well, they're sort of a high visibility white in case I need to find my crooked little body down here.
If the vest doesn't work, it's the socks that'll save you.
Right, the socks will definitely.
I got mine tucked in for ticks, but I like your high vis socks better.
Yeah, they're one look at this and the ticks go the other way. Wait a minute. Put that in. Okay, are we at a impasse?
I think it keeps going up there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Let me scramble up here and see what we got.
Okay. To get a sampling face, that could be tough.
Yeah. There's the vein right above me here. And it looks like there's a little bit of copper show, but not a whole lot of mineralization. Looks like it may have gotten faulted off right there.
Yeah.
Let me see if we got something going on over here. Yeah, we're pretty much done over here. It goes up to a little stope there.
Okay.
But I bet we can get a sample off of here. Here's B13. It looks like somebody sampled. We got a spot here we're going to take some samples of. It looks like someone else has already done that with the pink here, you see. But we're going to double that up. When you're taking samples for assay of a vein, it's really important to get from one wall, this is a foot wall, all the way across to the hanging wall as equally as you can. You don't want to come in here and see a bunch of shinies and assay a little pocket here. But we might actually do both. We might take one across the whole face and then see if we can juice one right in here in this good section and see if we can kind of isolate where the gold's hanging out. But you can see the vein isn't evenly mineralized all the way across. It's kind of white quartz here. There's a real nice band in the middle that looks like it has most of the sulfides. And then it goes all the way to the hanging wall here where there's not much else. So we'll see if I can get the camera set up and watch me take a sample of this. You want to take one across the whole thing, or juice one, or both?
Let's do both. Just like you said.
Okay.
And Jason is taking a representative sample that's going to be as accurate as possible, getting as much representative rock from that vein without bias the best you can.
Okay. Is that enough for you?
That should be.
Want some
Actually,
more?
yeah. Let's. You know, when you fill it up, it's just about exactly that,
Okay.
that bag right there.
Yeah, I'll get another.
If you can, I mean.
I think it's pretty well oxidized.
Okay, so it is a
It's
little
kinda rough,
friable.
so
Okay.
It chips pretty easy.
Yeah. And the bigger the sample, the more representative it usually is. You wanna... That's perfect.
Is that good?
Yeah. You've made wages.
Okay, that's. I
With
feel
that.
important now.
Yeah. And that's an old milk carton that if you fill it, it's the exact contents of that sample bag, and it's actually pretty useful for taking chip samples from mines and such.
It's really hard to hold a bucket or anything else up there, a bag, and try and chip into it. But
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
the way to go.
Yeah.
You sold me on these. These are great. Okay, we got our samples across here. We got one all the way across. We got another one of this kind of juicy area right in here. And then after I took that first sample, we found a real nice piece of free gold in a rock right about here, just to the right side of this little seam here. There's kind of a band of sulfides, and there's a really nice little piece of free gold right about in here. We'll get it out in the sun. You guys can take a look. But we've knocked off a bunch more rock right here in this juicy spot, and we're going to take it out in the sunlight and see what we can see in it. I just came across there. It doesn't go back very far here, Lane. I'll if you want to throw me a sample bag or something, I can get a sample if I find a spot. I came across this ladder. We're above where we got our good sample. You can see the vein running there, some old stalls and stuff. This actually this little hole right here was where I was under and got that nice gold specimen. The vein's actually really well defined, but it's pretty narrow back here. And they chased it for a little ways. I'm assuming they chased it hoping it would kind of balloon out again to a mineable width, but right now it's 9 inches maybe. And they were drifting along here hoping, and then it just kind of went down to very little there. And it's not, I mean, even here it's not very mineralized. It's pretty much just white quartz. See, here's the face they stopped at. It's just 6 inches, maybe 5. And pretty much barren looking quartz. So that's where they quit on this one. Ow. Let me see if we can find a spot here. I don't know if I got it in the other video, but right here where I got that good sample, there's a fault right here. There's the vein, and it faults off here. Here's the fault right here. And so the vein here is about 3 feet over.
That sounds pretty good.
See, the vein goes here, and then it jogs over about 3 feet. And a lot of times when you have veins or structures that the veins intersect, you'll get some higher grade material. And so that's what I'm assuming happened right here. And right in here, you can see a lot more of the sulfides come back. You're starting to get more mineralization. Some of the copper staining we saw down below. But the farther away you get from the fault, it goes barren. So I will try taking a sample right in here, which is, again, right above where I got that good sample. We'll see what it comes back for assay. Well, I just drug the ladder back over, so now our hole is open again, but I survived my Indiana Jones experience with crossing the hole here. I didn't have to use my whip. Look at this, they even put a stole in there. I could have used my whip to get across, but I use a ladder just for safety. That hole goes down about 25 feet, I think we measured. But we got 2 samples back there, so I'm excited to see what comes of this stuff. I'm going to try and get this on camera, but we're looking through a hand lens here. And all that yellow stuff is gold. And it wraps around here. There's a bunch of fine stuff in the quartz. Really, really small. And I don't know if this is in focus or not. I hope you can see that gold there. There's a little streak of pyrite, that dark black stuff. It's just down below that. A couple blobs, and it's all throughout the streak as well, right here in the corner. There's gold all through there. That was where I chipped that off underground and got that good sample. So hopefully that comes out really, really nice. Well, we're back in some different workings here. This is kind of a famous tunnel in the area. And this goes back, it's supposed to go back about 6,000 feet. And it cross-cut a number of veins on the way back. But it's been concreted up, and no one's been back here in a long time. I've got an air meter with me, so I got that going. But we're on a little adventure here. I don't know where this goes or what's back here. I've got laying out at the entrance. It obviously angles up a little bit because I'm running out of water here. It's going to be in the dry before I know it. And we're just going to go back here and see what we can see. There we go, not bad. We're out of the water. Looking back at the hole there, we're probably 300 feet in, maybe 200 feet in. Had some nice ties in here. The rail is all gone. That was valuable stuff. They had what they call their piss ditch over here to drain the water out. This is probably a 10 by 10 or a 12 by 12 drift, or crosscut, I guess, technically is the term. They were going in here to intersect a bunch of veins that outcropped on the surface. Let me check my air meter here. We're at 20.4. So we still got lots of air. And yeah, who knows how long it's been since someone's been back here. And what do we got here? We got our first little crosscut. Looks like there was a little seam here they were working. I don't see anything fantastic. Here they went up a little bit, chasing it, seeing what they could find. That just goes back. Well, they just went all over in here. Ooh, excuse me. Out here with all the long grass and got my allergies going. So there's one. There it is. There's a little quartz seam there, and they followed it back the other way. Ooh, there's a hole. A little hole. Full of water, though. Don't want to disturb that. Here's about as much water's flowing through here. I don't know. Not very much. A couple gallons a minute, maybe. But the back looks real nice. Real competent. So we've gone through one crosscut. There's supposed to be like 30 or something crazy in this tunnel. 35. There's the daylight. Maybe 500-600 feet back. I got something up ahead here in the drift. This is pretty cool being back here. I like that I can just walk in. Here's a good exposure of country rock. It looks like some kind of maybe metamorphosed sedimentary rock with little quartz stringers in it. But this thing's been open for over 100 years, and you don't see any big donagers down here on the floor. Nothing's fallen off the back or the ribs. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. We'll get up here to this barrel or air tank and check our air meter again. Now they got ties going all the way across. That's kind of interesting. There's where the rails were. I don't know what's going on over here. It doesn't look like they had any nails there. So it doesn't look like there are any rails on that side, but I don't know. More quartz exposed. Here's a big tank. Let me check my air meter again here. $19.8. So we're down a little bit. We're still okay. But I doubt I'll be able to get to the back today, all the way to the end. There's some, see all that stuff's just oozing down the wall. That's real common. The water's leaching stuff and precipitating it in the walls. Here's the water flow. Not a ton, but it's flowing. So I'm probably 1,000 feet, at least by now. And we're still doing okay. Here's our second crosscut. Off to the right, or the east. Go down here a little ways. What were they chasing here? Here's a vein. Here's a little vein they were chasing. Tiny little thing. Well, I don't know. It opens up here a little bit. That's maybe a 2-foot face there. Well, look at that. Now it's 3 feet. But there's definitely a showing there for sure. It's hard to tell from down here. There's definitely some rust on it, a little bit of mineralization, but I'm guessing it doesn't run very good because it looks like they stopped right there, about 50 feet from here, maybe a total of 70 feet off the main crosscut tunnel. But they didn't stope up here, so I bet the grade isn't any good or worth it back in the day. And they didn't follow it at all to the west. Okay, now we're back in the main drift. There's the portal. Now we're going back north here. What do we got coming up here? Here's something. What is this? A little bucket or a barrel? Okay, that was 3 off to the left there. Starting to get some brown Gucci stuff coming off the wall here. No footprints in that. All right, where are we at?
Attention please, oxygen gas, low concentration.
Okay, yep. Got it. Here we are. This is the 4th crosscut. We got quartz there. A little bit going across. But I'm at 19%, so I'm turning around. There's another barrel up there. That's the 2nd barrel. It gives you an indication of how far I made it. There's the portal. Probably 1,500, maybe 2,000. This thing's going off. Let me get back into the good air here. All right, guys, well, I wanted to wrap this video up. I wanted to let you know I made it out of the mine alive. Even though my air meter was going off, I made it out. And luckily, I have the assay results from the samples we took. So the first 2 samples that I took were down on that lower section. And the assay all the way across the vein came back 11 ounces a ton in gold. The one that I juiced, where I took that sliver right out of the middle with all those sulfides, came back at 21 ounces a ton in gold. And then I took the one right above me there through that hole where I had to cross the ladder. That one was 5.5 ounces a ton. And then I took another one further closer to the portal on that section of vein, and it came back at 2 ounces a ton. So that thing is absolutely chocked full of gold. Those are amazing, amazing assay results. So I'm glad I got those assay results. I could put them in the end of this video. And I'm excited to get back in that mine, man. It's a long drive for me, but with gold samples like that, I'm going to go back underground sometime, get a big old sample of ore, and bring it back up to my shop and crush it up through the system. But I'm really excited to see on a future video what that ore from the ore bin pulls out to be, because if I was getting samples underground at multi-ounce stuff, maybe that stuff in the ore bin is super hot too. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you can leave me a comment down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.